And now, broadcasting live from the Ginger and Baker studio in the heart of the Music District in beautiful downtown Fort Collins, Colorado, it's Live at Lunch here on KRFC 88.9 FM, streaming live at krfcfm.org. I'm your host today, David V., and today's special musical guest is Westside Joe and the Men of Soul.
1, 2, 1, time.
Oh, lonely room, give me reprieve. I never thought she would want to leave me all alone. Take me on home, oh, lonely room. Oh, lonely room, hear what I said. No one to talk to outside my head about what I had. I feel so bad. Oh, lonely room. Oh, lonely room, the world outside is much too heavy. I need a place to hide. My baby's gone. I can't go on. Oh, lonely man down.
1, 2, 1, 2, 3.
I know where you began. You think you got something on your fellow man, but you're somebody at his expense, and you don't mind if it don't make sense. It's true, ignorance is bliss, but you'll never be free until you get keep him in his place. But just don't be surprised if you keep feeling you've been left behind. Reach for the higher ground somewhere. You'll never get there because you can't hold a man down. 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 You can't hold a man down unless you stay down with him. We're gonna rise up. Gonna rise up. That's what we're gonna do. Rise up. We're gonna rise up. We're gonna rise on up. Yeah. Come on, Brian. You can't hold 'em. You can't hold 'em down. You can't hold 'em. You can't hold 'em down. Can't hold 'em. You can't hold 'em down without staying on the ground. Can't hold 'em. You can't hold 'em down. You can't hold 'em. You can't hold 'em down. You can't hold 'em. You can't hold 'em down without staying on the ground. Oh, you feel powerful, don't you? Well, guess what? We got the advantage on you. There's more of us than there are of you. And we know what we're gonna do. We're gonna rise up. We're gonna rise up. We're gonna rise up. We're gonna rise up. Oh, yeah.
Westside Joe and the Minnesota here on KRFC's Live at Lunch. Started off with the new tune there, Oh Lonely Room, and Can't Keep a Good Man Down from, that was a 2021 release, right? Keep on Climbing, your last album?
That's right. That was called Man Down from Keep on Climbing, 2021.
Yeah.
That's everything you just said.
Yeah.
And I said it again.
I'm just trying to remember. I know you're working on a new one and looking for some grants or something to help you get it all finished, right?
Oh, that would be great. Yeah, we're always writing new music, so yeah, love to get back in the studio ASAP.
Well, we're going to introduce the band real quick. Joe Schicky there on guitar and vocals, lead vocals, leading up the band there, and Brian Keller on keyboards, Taylor Tesler on bass, and Steve Amadei on drums and percussion, and all helping out on vocals too. I'm going to start out with Joe. Raised in Memphis, Tennessee, and you played with a lot of people, it looks like, over the years. Kind of honed your chops with Queen Reba Russell. How'd that happen?
My parents were real cool. They used to take me down to Beale Street for blues jams, and things like that. And so I met a DJ down there named Tater Red, and he played. So we had a commercial radio station. I don't know if I can say it, but can I say it?
Yeah, go ahead.
Rock 103, and so that was like a classic rock radio station, and so he did a blues show on Sunday nights for a couple hours, and so I used to listen to his blues show in middle school, and I met him down there, so that was like meeting a big star. Now he's just a buddy of mine. But Tater Red, he saw me playing down there and said, "Hey man, you need to listen to Muddy Waters and B.B. King." So I rode my lime green Diamondback with white tires up to the Raleigh Springs Mall, and went to the music store and bought some CDs, some old blues CDs. What was your question?
Oh, no, you're right on the right track there. You know, how you got into the blues, yeah.
Yeah, so anyways, he recommended me to Reba Russell because she was looking for a new guitar player.
And she liked the sound, and how long were you with her?
5 or 6 years.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it was
Okay.
real cool. I got to meet all kinds of awesome people that way. Got to play with a lot of legends like James Cotton, the harmonica player from Muddy Waters, and
Larry Lee with Al Green.
Yeah, Larry Lee and Big Joe Turner.
Yeah, who played with B.B. and Albert King both.
Yeah, and Big Joe Turner. Larry Lee played with Hendrix at Woodstock. He's the one with the green.
Wow. Headband?
Yeah, it's like a mask.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and Hendrix makes fun of him too. He's like, "We got Larry Lee with the," he's like,
The Green Hornet mask or whatever.
with the green thing on his face. It's pretty funny. You can
And
see
then
it.
some newer days like Al Gamble with St. Paul and the Broken Bones.
Oh yeah, so I used to play with Chad and Al with Reba back then. Those guys are from Alabama.
Okay.
Chad plays with Jason Isbell, and they moved up to Memphis around the same time I was playing, so I got to play with those guys.
Did your family stay there?
Good dudes. My dad's still in Middle Tennessee, but yeah, most of us have moved on.
So I'm going to ask the question I ask everybody. How'd you work your way from there to here?
I just was looking for a change of scenery, and
Seriously?
yeah.
Mm-hmm. And so why Fort Collins?
Oh well, we all kind of just migrated here. Lots of different family members. My sister moved to Greeley first, and then she eventually moved on to Fort Collins, and then my sister moved out to Denver, and then my mom moved out to Fort Collins, and then so I came out here too.
All right.
Yeah.
And then met all the different musicians that you play with now.
Yeah. It's cool because I'm not the only one that moved out here, and then I don't know if any of us are Fort Collins natives, but
There's not a whole lot of them.
yeah, I don't know if I play with any Fort Collins natives. Do we play with any Fort Collins natives? We all play with the same people.
Well, let's see. You came out in 2007.
I came out in 2007. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
So you've been here a while.
Mm-hmm.
You know, 25, 26 years now.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely home now. I absolutely love Northern Colorado and the state. So happy to be here.
20. Well, I'm guessing a little too many years, but yeah, we all know. 2007, 2023, so about 15 years.
The cameras make my math mind.
Yeah,
shut
me
off.
too. They get me sometime. Well, I'm going to let you guys get back into See You Again, which is another new tune. Actually, I used to be with the Scapegoats.
Yeah, this is an old song called "I'll See You Again" that me and Steve were in a band called the Scapegoats back in when I wrote this song, and it was written for another guitar player, a friend of mine from the Beale Street days, who passed away, and so. Every time we play this, it's kind of a tribute to our fallen musician buddies. So Robbie Robertson was not a buddy of ours, but we're going to do this
For Robbie Robertson.
for Robbie anyways.
West Side Joe and the Minnesota on Live at Lunch.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Well, you know the Lord giveth, the Lord taketh away, and it makes me so sad you ain't here today. We're gonna raise our glass and keep on playing. We had a pretty good run. I wish we could be running still. So keep me in mind, because you know I will. You know I will. Yes, and when the sun drops behind the river, I'll meet you out across the hill. 'Cause I'll see you again, my friend. It ain't over, I'll see you again. I'll see you again, my friend. It ain't over, I'll see you again. So sad that you ain't here today. Yes, it does now. We're gonna raise our glass. Oh, we're gonna keep on playing. Yeah, we're gonna keep on playing, 'cause I'll see you again, my friend. It ain't over, I'll see you again. See you again, my friend. No, it ain't over, I'll see you again. I'll see you again. I'll see you again. I'll see you again.
Westside Joe and the Minnesota here on KRFC's Live at Lunch. I'm going to speak with the rhythm section here, and I'm going to go to Steve Amadei. How you doing, Steve?
Very well, Dave. How you doing?
I'm wonderful. I don't know if you remember, I think the first time I met you was probably about 80, 81. You and a couple of the other sub-dudes came into the store I used to work at, the Finest Records, with the first album. Wanted us to sell it consignment for you here.
I remember that place. I remember those records.
So I've know the sub-dudes and you guys for a while. And what brought you up from New Orleans area originally?
Well, it was on the advice of John Magny, my fellow sub-dude mate.
Yeah?
We'd started the band a few months earlier in New Orleans, and wanted to get out. It was hot time of the year,
Hot and humid.
and we wanted to go someplace else, try our luck, and see if we could get a lot of work. You know, that's mainly the thing. John thought we could work a lot up here, and at all the ski resorts and everything like
Yeah.
that. But as it turned out, the ski resorts they're all booked like months, years ahead of time.
So you all play down here,
So
huh?
we end up our first place hot spot that we played a lot was Wyoming, Casper and Laramie. We used to play up at the Ranger in Laramie all the time.
Okay.
And gradually we worked our way in over here. The old sports page.
I remember Sports Page on Linden Street. And did you ever
LaPorte
play at
and College
Linden's
there.
or Linden Street? I'm trying to remember some of the
It-
venues
it's
that were still
where,
back there.
the Mexican food restaurant is now.
Oh, right, exactly, yeah.
And with Friends, there was a place called Friends we used to play. Von Donner's. This is going back a long way now. Do you remember it?
Yeah, well, it's 40 years ago.
But Sam's that had his
Sam's
heyday
Old Town
by
Ballroom.
then, so we didn't get. I heard that was a fantastic place.
Yeah.
But we didn't get to do that one.
Steve Ackerman's still around. He was the
Yeah.
one that ran that.
But that's it. Just to come up here and work and end up loving it. You know, I'd rather fell in love with the mountains. I love the bayous and the lakes and everything down there. But
Nice place to
there's
visit.
something really magical about
Colorado, huh?
about Colorado, the mountains, and all the scenery here.
What did you listen to when you were growing up in Louisiana?
I'm not hearing you in my
Oh,
earphones.
I was gonna
It's
say,
kinda hard for me to hear you.
What did you listen to growing up in
Where did
Louisiana?
I grow up? I grew up in a little town about 35 miles west of New Orleans. I was born in Metairie, at Metairie Hospital. That no longer exists. It's a senior citizens home now. But yeah, it's a little sugarcane growing area ofLouisiana.
A lot of Zydeco or Cajun music or blues.
Zydeco and Cajun are kind of further to the southwest. Like I said, Edgard's like about 35 miles west. It's like right in the middle between New Orleans and Baton Rouge. All that Zydeco area is to the south of Baton Rouge.
So
you
more
know.
of a Faraday sound like Jerry Lee Lewis or people like that growing up you're listening to?
Strangely enough, I grew up listening to a lot of soul, and my oldest brother got a phonograph for our family. He had a job, and I'll tell you the 3 records he bought that we used to listen to all the time: James Brown, Live at the Apollo,
Classic.
Otis Redding, and The Ventures, Walk, Don't Run. So
My parents had that too.
So those got played round the clock every day, and of course the Beatles, you know. And oddly enough, I didn't learn too much about my New Orleans, Louisiana heritage until I grew up, you know. You know, when I found out that the Beatles, all these covers like Chuck Berry and stuff, you know. But there was some New Orleans people. Larry Williams, he did Bad Boy. I never knew about him until the Beatles.
Till
you
the
know?
Beatles did a cover
So
of
well
it.
until I grew up that I started to get into my Louisiana heritage, find out all these people who actually inspired the Beatles and all the British invasion.
So were you always a percussionist or did you start out on another instrument?
I basically, yeah. I started off on flutophone when I was in the 3rd grade.
Flutophone.
You know what that is? A little
Yeah, with
tonette.
keyboards, isn't it?
It's a wind instrument.
Yeah.
And then played the snare drum in the junior band, and
Little high school influences, gotcha?
Yeah. Learned how to read snare drum music, but my first drum was actually not a drum. It was this old blackboard that I had, and my oldest brother, who bought the record player, he was an aspiring guitar player. He was growing up right about the time Elvis was big, and he grew his hair, he had ducktails and everything, and he wanted to be a guitar player so bad. He would play, and I'd follow along on my blackboard, and we'd play Ventures tunes and James Brown and Otis Redding, pop, pop, on the
clickety-clackety
blackboard.
sound, huh? Yeah. Wonderful. Well, I'm sure, people have always been interested in, the Subdudes had a great run.
Yeah.
They're still popular with everybody in our area, and
It was a lot of fun.
I was always told that you got the name because you guys were trying to create a subdued sound. Is that correct?
It was a conversation that Tommy Malone and John Magny had after hours at Tipitina's one night, and they were discussing. They were in this big discussion. Them two and all our friends who were there listening to who was ever playing that night, and the big thing about them was. They wrote great songs, they sang great, but they played so loud that people couldn't understand what the heck they were doing.
Okay.
So the gist of this conversation was, yeah, we need to tone it down a little bit, and play more subdued. And just then a light went off over John, so Art, Tommy's, whoever. I think they both said it at the same time. Hey, we'll be the Subdudes. Okay.
That's okay. Classic. Those are the kind of things we like to learn on Live at Lunch. Well, hey, let's get back into it a little bit here. Let's, Making It Up is a new tune.
Yeah, this is a song that I brought to the band, but we pretty much co-wrote and co-arranged this song, which is kind of rare. It's called Making It Up on the Spot.
And then right into Moon is Full, another new tune.
Yeah, it's another new tune, so we'll do 2 back-to-back new tunes. I'll go ahead and start it, y'all.
Okay, Live at Lunch. Yeah, you got a little string.
String?
There you go. You got it.
Get it?
Didn't want it to fall in your eye.
Got the world on a string.
You saw something in me, even though I was a bum. I opened up my mouth, the words came spilling out. Somehow you wound up smiling, even though I didn't know what I was talking about. I was making it up on the spot. The spot. Take a look at me, baby. I got some brand new clothes. I got paid on Friday. I'll take you anywhere that you want to go. We need to have some fun, 'cause life's gotten too complex. made a couple mistakes, but you always played it through. And you're pretty good at making plans, but that does not explain how you can keep on putting up with me. The only thing I can say, you must have been making it up on the spot. Making it up on the spot. Making it up. Making it up. Making it up. Making it up on the spot. Here's another new tune. The moon is full.
1, 2, 3, 4.
The moon is full. Look up at it. The moon is full. Now's our time. The moon is full. Let me have it. Put those big soft lips on mine. I waited all month, you see, for the perfect night. And finally you're close to me, close enough for faces in the light. The moon is full, look up at it. The moon is full, now's our time. The moon is full, let me have it. Put those big soft lips on mine. A spotlight, a mighty sign of love's eternity. High above the timberline, our very own celestial marquee. The moon is full, look up at it. The moon is full, now's our time. The moon is full, let me have it. Put those big soft lips on mine. Now is our time. Now is our time. Now is our time. Now is our time. Now is our time.
Westside Joe and the Minnesota here on KRFC's Live at Lunch. That moon is full. That kind of had almost a ska rhythm to it. Where did that come from?
I don't know.
I know you don't hear that a lot in your music, so
We
it's
listen
kind
to
of cool.
a lot of music.
Yeah. So you
Yeah.
have a lot of influences that you don't necessarily have brought with you from Memphis. Have you picked up stuff here in Colorado, or?
I don't know, man. I was listening to that kind of stuff in Memphis.
Oh, yeah?
I don't know. I say a weird kid, but we were probably all the same
Yeah.
in high school, where we just were like really into music, and then really into where that music got its influence, and then you're in high school and you're just like
You absorb it.
listening to the history of music, and you're like, that was my. Oh, thank you. I should talk into the mic so you can hear me. Yeah, I used to just like sit in my room, and like that was before the internet too, so I don't know how I got all this music.
Good stations on the radio, probably.
Yeah. But just really, I don't know. I liked the music of the time, the 90s, but I just was really curious about like older styles. So I listened to a lot of old blues, and me and my buddy Jeff were super into Sun Records music. We just wanted to like digest everything Sun and Stax and all those Memphis labels, but also, you know, like where did Bob Marley get his styles from? And then we're like, oh, Bob Marley got his stuff from like American music, you know. And
that's what they say. They say the radio came from New Orleans, but it broke up, and so that's how they got the reggae rhythm, you know, where the bass was different than the
And I don't
music.
know if you're going to ask me about our band name. Was that on your list?
Go ahead.
Okay. But like that's soul music to me, you know. Like everything we play is kind of soul music,
Yeah.
not like the genre, but just like soulful music.
Definitely
And so
Memphis influence of soul.
These guys are the men of soul because they're all soulful dudes, which just kind of makes it hard because then like if you need to find a sub, you gotta find someone with a lot of soul, which few and far between, I think. But yeah, that's kind of our MO is just we do anything that's kind of a soulful type of music, whether it's ska or blues or whatever.
Taylor Tessler, how you doing?
I'm doing well. How are you, David?
I'm great. You know, Mr. Stoic, you're always so solid, but you're laying the rhythm down. So,
Yeah.
you're originally from Rochester, New York, right?
I am. Yeah.
All right. How'd you find your way out here to Colorado?
Similar to Steve, I guess. Music kind of brought me out here. I grew up in upstate New York and had a band with some buddies after high school, and the singer got accepted to Arizona State. So we were all 19 at the time, and we were playing music until 4 in the morning, and you know, drinking a few beers and partying, living the, you know, or I guess we were 21 for
Old enough to drink.
old enough to drink, yeah. But we were having so much fun playing music and discovering our instruments, and really didn't want to break up the band, so we're like, let's move to Arizona. Let's go down there, and we did the thing out there, and ended up meeting my current wife in Phoenix. She was a fan of the band. Band broke up. I moved to LA, tried the music thing out there. Didn't really.
Was it hard to break into the scene not being from there?
Yes.
Yeah?
Yeah. And
Just
I
curious.
mean, you know, my buddy that moved out there as well broke through and played with a lot of successful people, and a couple of my buddies, actually 2 guys from that band did. But yeah, you have to stay there for long term. You know, yeah, I was there for a year and a half, and it's not nearly
Play for
enough
free
time.
a lot.
Playing for free, yeah, or free beers, and you know, maybe
Well,
$50. But
You've had some success. I mean, you toured with American Idol's Casey Abrams, and you were in that band.
Yes.
Playing bass, I assume.
Mostly guitar, actually, because
Really? Okay.
Casey's a bass player.
Oh,
He's like
okay.
a jazz-trained upright bass player. So he and I would tour. We did the band thing. We did trio stuff with a saxophone player, but we did a lot of duo stuff, just he and I, and both singing, and we'd swap back and forth guitar and bass, and that was a lot of fun. And just in a little minivan, packed full of gear, and driving all over the country. And
So why Fort Collins?
it's a good question. So, like I said, I met my current wife in Phoenix, and we were doing the long distance thing while I was in LA. Didn't like LA, didn't really like Phoenix, didn't want to move back to New York. We're like, let's check out Colorado. It seemed like a logical thing, and just fell in love with it immediately, and fell in love with the community. Just doing business on a handshake. We got an apartment with, you know, literally a handshake in Longmont. They're like, yeah, you guys seem great. Sure. And we're like, all right.
Like, that's
cool.
a lot different than L.A. or New York, huh?
Yeah, no, it was kind of mind blowing, and moved up here and pretty quickly met Joe and Steve. You know, within the first year, I think, and yeah, just all the musicians super supportive, and just loved it here. That was 2010, so I've been
Wow.
here since then, and yeah, it's just as good, if not better, now than it was
What
back
were
then.
you listening to in upstate New York growing up?
Anything, man. Grew up. Dad was a big Beatles, Beach Boys fan. The Doors. You know, '60s stuff. Buffalo Springfield, Neil Young.
Did you pick up a lot of the Beach Boys bass lines, like from Brian Wilson?
No, I wish I did.
Yeah, just curious.
No,
'cause you've got
I
a pretty good style, and I just was curious what your influence was.
Thank you. No, bass. As far as bass influence, I've always go back to James Jamerson and Motown Funk Brothers stuff. All the
There's
stuff
that
he
soul
played.
coming back at you.
Yeah, it's just his stuff is just all from the soul, and it's hard to not fall in love with it, you know. But yeah, grew up listening to that kind of stuff, and really anything. A lot of Bob Marley, Steely Dan had a big phase of that, but also had a big phase of like classic rock, Led Zeppelin, and actually picked up the guitar because of Metallica in middle school. That was the cool thing. It's heavy metal.
I'll tell you, it's amazing, and I probably said this a dozen times over Live at Lunch, but how many bluegrass musicians I speak to that started out with speed metal. And it's like, how did you get from speed metal to bluegrass? And it's fast playing.
It's pretty parallel transition. Just electric distortion to acoustic, but same stuff. Yeah.
Well, all right. Well, I need to speak with Brian Keller here from Hayes, Kansas. How you doing?
Good, thanks.
Newest member of the band, because the trio is kind of the core here. So how'd you make it out here to Colorado?
I moved out here almost 6 years ago, I think it was now. I don't know, kind of similar, but I had a friend that was already living out here that talked me into moving out here to do some music stuff, because back in Hayes, I really wasn't playing a whole lot at the time. We were gigging a little bit here and there, but I mean, there's just not as many places to play out in Western Kansas. And so Joel Ziner, we went to school together, and when we got out of college, he moved out here, and he had been here for a while. And when I got out of college, I was in a different band at the time that moved to Nashville, just very briefly. Basically, once we moved there, I think we were there for maybe 6 months, and the band broke up. So then I moved back home to Kansas, and I was just working at home for a while. And he just kept pestering me to move out here because there's a great scene, a lot of players, and a lot of music going on. And finally listened to him after some persuasion. I came out here, and actually one of the very first gigs I played was with Taylor because he was subbing for the band that I had moved out here to join. Mm-hmm. And so the first time, I think it was actually before I even moved here, I came out to visit and just stayed over and sat in with the band, Amorphic, and Taylor was playing bass that night for him. So it's kind of funny that he was the very first guy I played with, and then we didn't really play together for probably a couple years maybe later, and then we started doing
contact, obviously.
Yeah, and then exactly. We had the contact, and we started doing some studio work together, just by chance that we'd be on the same gig in the studio or something. And then been playing with Joe now for a little over a year, maybe something like that. But yeah, so just moved out here to try to do some more music stuff. So,
well, I'm noticing a lot of, obviously soul, but gospel influences almost in your playing. Did you listen to much gospel growing up?
Yeah, definitely listened to some gospel stuff, but I also just, even now, that's like one of the ways I try to incorporate just being a better piano player is just coming from taking that approach. Because there's a lot of other styles of music that maybe they're not gospel, but a lot of their roots come from that.
Yeah, you just really can hear it in a lot of your playing.
So yeah, definitely some of that. And then same with like Taylor, a lot of classic rock influence. And then some jazz stuff, but most of my jazz background is actually on saxophone.
So you're a sax player too?
Yeah, and that's what I when I went to school, I studied saxophone in college, and then started playing keys.
Did you get a jazz degree
more.
in sax then?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I have a performance degree in sax, and then just started playing more keys, especially once I moved out here. There was just a lot more opportunities on keyboards. A lot of people needing a keyboard player. And just kind of fell into that, and have been doing more and more of that. So,
all right, well, you're all doing well now. Group of four, sounding good. We're going to let you get back into some tunes here. Community, that's a brand new song. What's this one all about, Joe?
What Taylor was just talking about.
Yeah, all right.
So rewind your video. Go back to what Taylor was saying. He explained it better than I could.
All right, Westside Joe and the Minnesota.
Thanks, man.
There's something about my city I've been thinking of. There's something about my city, this place that I love. It's not the landscape, it's not the sights, it's not the pretty faces that populate the night. It's a feeling I get, I feel it in my This feeling tells me I don't have to be alone. The foothills rise on the outskirts of town, and everywhere on the streets within, something's going down. Community, community, baby, can't you feel it? Community, community, baby, I do believe it. Morningside drive to Casa Grande, Spring Creek and West Vine, Cache La Poudre. Voices in motion, feeling out loud. We found what we were looking for right here on the ground. Community, community, baby, we've got a beautiful thing. Community, community, baby, what will you bring? Bad luck and trouble will remain. Yes, you got a right to complain, but we'll be picking up the slack. Rest assured, my friend, we all got each other's back. Community, community, baby, oh, we got a beautiful thing. Yes, we do. Community, community, baby, what will you bring? Oh, 'cause we got a beautiful thing. Got a beautiful thing. Got a beautiful thing. Got a beautiful thing. We got a beautiful thing. Got a beautiful thing. We got a beautiful thing. We got a beautiful thing. We got a beautiful thing. Got a beautiful thing. Got a beautiful thing. We've got a beautiful thing.
Westside Joe and the Minnesota here on KRFC's Live at Lunch. I'd like to bring up that they have a couple of shows coming up here. Friday, September 29th at the Magic Rat in Fort Collins, and Saturday, September 30th at the Pooter Pour in Windsor, Colorado. Would be excellent times to see those guys. Also like to remind all of our viewers and listeners that you can always go to KRFC's RadioVision YouTube channel and see all the past, present, and future shows that we have for Live at Lunch. If you click on the subscribe button, you'll get a notification each week about who will be playing that week, and it helps the musicians as much as it helps KRFC. Appreciate it if you do that. I'd also like to thank our crew today, Eric Delano and Jeremy Smith on the video, who always do a fantastic job. Eric, you put in so many hours. It's greatly appreciated, buddy. And also on the sound, we'd like to thank Colton Boening, Greg Douras, and Dan Perez, who always do a fantastic job. Well, guys, anything you'd like to touch base on that maybe I didn't talk about today? Any upcoming shows that I missed?
Yeah, we're playing the tailgate for the CSU Air Force game
That should be
towards the
fantastic.
end of October.
That'll be a fun time.
And also, we want to thank you, David, for everything you do for the music community.
Oh, thank
You
you.
and Jen and Sean and everybody here at KRFC 88.9. Thank you, guys.
All right. Well, you guys can lead us out with Don't Quit, brand new song, and Colorado Mama from your fantastic Keep On Climbing album.
Thank you, man.
1, 2, 3, 4.
If there's a dream that you keep on having, you know you've got to reach out and grab it and hold on tight, 'cause the world might not agree with who you know in your heart you need to be. It won't be easy, that you'll surely find. Be patient with yourself, it won't be so hard all the time. Don't quit, don't quit, don't quit, don't quit, yeah. Back in high school, there was a kid, he'd only do what everybody else did. He never knew who he truly was inside. He had a dream, but he was too afraid to try. You gotta go out and make some mistakes. We'll still be here for you. No one can tell you how to live your life, but there's one thing you got to do. Don't quit, don't quit, don't quit, don't quit. You might need to let go and put your dreams upon the shelf. Do what you need, but always believe in yourself. Don't quit. There's a dream that you keep on having. You know you got to just reach out and grab it. It won't be easy, that you'll surely find. Be patient with yourself, it won't be so hard all the time. Don't quit, don't quit, don't quit, don't quit. If there's a dream that you keep on having, you know you got to reach out and grab it. Don't quit, don't quit, don't quit, don't quit. Here's a song about colorful Colorado. We are West Side Joe and the Minnesota. Thank you. Thanks for listening. getting up high in the mountains. I believe I'll come back down. I'm getting up high in the mountains. I believe I'll come back down. I'm trying to find my kind of baby. I'm searching from town to town. Oh, baby, I dig that lovely front range. Oh, baby, I dig that lovely front range. Spend some time with me, honey, and help me spend my change. Colorado, mama, I was raised in Tennessee. Colorado, mama, I was raised in Tennessee. Spend some time with me, honey. You sure won't leave me be. I've been chasing you, baby, since 2008. You make me so glad I traveled to this state. The Colorado mama, slow down one time for me. 'Cause if you flag my train, you sure won't leave me be. Colorado. Colorado mama, take me to the mountaintop. Colorado mama, take me to the mountaintop. I love you, baby, and I don't intend to stop.
Thank you for listening to Live at Lunch, and thank you to the Music District here in the heart of Fort Collins, Colorado. Live at Lunch is produced by KRFC 88.9 FM in the Ginger and Baker studio. If you'd like to appear on Live at Lunch, email our music director, David Vacek, at david@krfcfm.org.